Hello everyone, Yoshimitsu here, and welcome to the Japanese lore of Dark Souls. As the title implies, I will be referring to the original Japanese text over the translated English text. If there are any discrepancies between the versions, I will always take what the original Japanese states as fact. I take this approach as many lore elements have been lost due to translation, and I'm hoping that I can bring some answers to long-debated and unanswered lore questions, and bring some new theories as well. Let's begin. The Profaned Capital is Volgen, and is a city within the country of Heide. This is the theory that I present. To explain this theory, I'll begin with Volgen. Cloana states this regarding Volgen. I was born in a land to the west, Volgen, famous for its merchants. There were great bustling cities. This statement is, 私はさ、西の国の生まれなんだ。Volgen っていう交易町が有名なところ。でかい町だよ。いつも賑やかでさ。In this statement in Japanese, Cloana doesn't state Volgen is a country, she states that Volgen is a large city. She also does not state what the name of the country from the west is, she just states she is born in a country to the west. And I believe her statement should read something like this. I was born in a land to the west, famous for Volgen, a merchant city, a huge city, always bustling. The Ring of Knowledge also confirms Volgen is a large city. The Ring of Knowledge reads, a ring blessed by the High Priest of Volgen, increases intelligence. The clerics of the great city of Volgen are perennially entrenched in scandalous power struggles, but among them remain a few strong-willed upstanding noblemen. The scandalous power struggles among the clerics is consistent with statements Mothlin makes. Mothlin states, I came from the west, from Volgen. Have you been there? It's a lively place, vibrant with trade, very competitive, of course. And you have to grease the wheels to get anywhere. But I didn't have the funding for that, so I left home in hopes of striking gold. Mothlin continues and states those of the blue hold power in Volgen. A group calling themselves the Blue Sentinels have gained much power in Volgen. You can't even run a shop without their blessing. They claim to be working for the greater good. Oh, but it's absolute hogwash. The term Blue Sentinel is Ao no Kyoto in Japanese. Ao translates to blue. Kyoto translates to believer or adherent. The believers of blue. The blue likely refers to the Way of the Blue. Way of the Blue parchment reads, members of the Way of Blue are beneficiaries of an ancient accord. When a dark spirit threatens them, a blue spirit will grant them assistance and help root out the invader. Now this blue spirit that assists the members of the Way of Blue are the Blue Sentinels. Blue Sentinel reads, faded sheepskin parchment depicting the dark moon and a sword, equipped to pledge oneself to the Blue Sentinels covenant. When a member of the Way of Blue is threatened by a dark spirit, the Blue Sentinels, in compliance with an ancient accord, assume the form of blue spirits and help to root out the leader. Summoning takes place automatically while this is equipped. And the Guardian's seal reads, Ring of the Blue Sentinel Covenant. Join this covenant and wear this ring to be automatically summoned to the worlds of blue apostles who have been invaded by dark spirits. The ring is engraved with the crest of the Way of Blue, symbolizing the dignified oath to protect each world's master from dark spirits. Blue Sentinel is Ao no Shugosha in Japanese. Ao translates to blue, Shugosha translates to guardian. Now the term Mothlin used was Ao no Kyoto, a believer of blue. Mothlin stated the Ao no Kyoto, the believers of blue, had power in Volgen, not the Ao no Shugosha, essentially, not the Blue Sentinels. The Blue Sentinels are the ones who protect the Believers of Blue. And one of these Blue Sentinels is Targray, Knight of the Blue. Targray's helm reads, Helm of one who guides others, belong to Targray, Knight of the Blue. Targray can appear obtuse, but the Blue Knight means no harm. He only wishes to offer guidance to those in need, for that is his purpose. Now to find Targray, one has to travel through the Heide's ruins and reach the Blue Cathedral. And this Blue Cathedral has an interesting connection with Lothric. Lothric is the land we, as the Ashen One, travel through in Dark Souls 3. Lothric's king has 3 pillars: the Scholar, the Knight, and the Priestess. The Blue Cathedral has 3 statues of these 3 pillars: the Scholar with the candle on his head, the Headless Knight, and the Priestess. What's interesting is on a different side of the Blue Cathedral has a 4th statue, and this 4th statue is likely the hunter who served the king as the Black Hand. I don't know why the Blue Cathedral has statues of the pillars of Lothric, but I do believe Heide and Lothric have some form of connection. Another is Emma, a priestess of Lothric, and a pillar to the king gives the Ashen One with the Way of the Blue parchment. Now the origins of the Way of Blue are very humble and lies with Heide. Blue Seal reads, Ring of the Way of Blue Covenant, increases hit points slightly. The Way of Blue is not a developed religion. It is a humble prayer that spread naturally amongst those seeking help. When apostles of Blue are invaded by dark spirits, they can receive assistance from masters of other worlds. And the Heide Knight Iron Mask reads, Iron Mask worn by Heide Knights. Whether Heide refers to a kingdom or was just a name for the land is not clear, for no records date back far enough to tell. All that is known is that the Way of Blue has its origins in Heide, and that Heide was later subsumed by the sea. The Heide armor directly states, the Way of Blue originated in Heide. Mothlin has also stated, the Aunokyoto, the Believers of Blue, hold power in the great city of Volgen. And the Ring of Prayer reads, a ring blessed by the High Priest of Volgen increases faith. The clerics of the great city of Volgen are perennially entrenched in scandalous power struggles, but among them remain a few strong-willed, upstanding noblemen. The clerics entrenched in power struggles are likely those of the Way of Blue. And as I've mentioned before, I believe the great merchant city lies within the borders of the country of Heide. Now, I want to discuss an individual who comes from Volgen. Although he doesn't state it directly himself, we can confirm where Gilligan comes from. Leningrad states this regarding Gilligan. Now, don't go near that scum near the pit. The scoundrel's name is Gilligan, and he's infamous in our hometown. The hometown of Leningrad can be confirmed with his daughter, Cloana. As Cloana comes from Volgen, I assume her father Leningrad also comes from Volgen. And as Leningrad states, Gilligan is infamous in their hometown. Therefore, I assume Gilligan is from Volgen. Now Gilligan is a laddersmith that assists the player in Drangleic, and he uses a weapon named Melu Scimitar. Melu Scimitar reads, Scimitar of laddersmith Gilligan. Nothing notable about this weapon, except perhaps the luxurious jewels embedded in the hilt. If your aim is to appear dazzling on the battlefield, this might just do the trick. Gilligan eventually made his way to the Profaned Capitol, where his corpse can be found. The likely individual and suspect who murdered Gilligan is Royal Sorcerernevlon. Nevlon states, Yes, I see. How very kind of you. I want you to kill a merchant named Gilligan. A greedy, foul man. He won't be missed, I assure you. Now, Royal Sorcerer Nevlon has an interesting connection with the Profaned Capitol. Royal Sorcerernevlon is theorizes in Japanese. This term is the same term used by the court sorcerer Aemon of the Profaned Capitol. Court sorcerer's staff reads, Catalyst used by the court sorcerers of the Profaned Capitol. Very powerful when wielded by an exceptionally intelligent sorcerer. The court sorcerers laid claim to the legacy of the renowned Big Hat Logan, going so far as to emulate him with copies of the staff he used. The term court sorcerer is kyutei majushushi in Japanese. Royal Sorcerernevlon is also kyutei majushushi in Japanese. Aemon and Nevlon both use the title kyutei majushushi. This indicates Royal Sorcerernevlon is from the Profaned Capitol. Now these court sorcerers of the Profaned Capitol are also called oracles. Court sorcerer Hood reads, Hood worn by the court sorcerers of the Profaned Capitol. This tall, dark headpiece suggests they may have also been oracles. There are many sorcerers who claim heirship to the great sage Big Hat Logan, and the Profaned Capitol houses one of the two leading schools. The term oracle is shinkan in Japanese. Shinkan is a term used in Japanese for the priests of Shinto. And this term shinkan, used to describe the court sorcerers of the Profaned Capitol, is also used to describe the high priests of Volgen. This to me indicates the two could be the same. Now when court sorcerer Aemon is defeated, he drops Logan's scroll. Logan's scroll reads, Secret Tome of the Profaned Capitol Court Sorcerers, containing sorcerers of Logan. Give to a sorcerer to learn Logan's sorceries. The court sorcerers use this scroll to claim heirship to Logan's legacy, though how that claim stands up to closer scrutiny is another story. In Japanese, the statement is, それは確かにかのビッグハットの魔術であり、ローガンの後継を名乗った宮廷魔術師たちにも三分の利程度はあったようだ。The last portion in Japanese, especially the term 三分の利, is a term used in Japanese to describe the logic or excuse of a thief's action. Basically, in Japanese, it's outright confirming the court sorcerers of the Profaned Capitol are thieves who stole Logan's scroll. And I believe this is very fitting of the Profaned Capitol, as the city is full of sin. To begin, the capital has a high number of mimics. And mimics are a symbol of avarice. Symbol of avarice reads, Head of the avaricious creature that mimics treasure chests. Can be worn if one so wishes. Increases soul absorption from defeated enemies as well as item discovery, but the curse of the branded also drains hit points. The very form of this creature is thought to be a form of brand, a punishment for sin. The capital is littered with golden jewelry, and multiple rusted coins and rusted gold coins can be found. The covetous gold serpent ring is also found in the capital, and snakes are known as creatures of great avarice. Covetous gold serpent ring reads, A gold ring depicting the snake, both the servant and manifestation of the god of desire Zinder. Greed is traditionally viewed as a vice, but only a coward sees every chance as something to fear. Now, one thing to note, this god of desire Zinder does not exist in the Japanese version. So I'll explain. The god of desire Zinder is Yoku no Kami Zandoro in Japanese. Yoku translates to either desire or greed. Kami translates to god, and Zandoro is the name. Now this name, Yoku no Kami Zandoro, is the same term used in the covetous silver serpent ring for the god of greed Zandro. Both the god of greed Zandro and the god of desire Zinder are Yoku no Kami Zandoro in Japanese. In my opinion, the correct translation would be Zandro, not Zinder. Bringing the conversation back to the Profaned Capitol, all these items that I mentioned earlier are found in the Profaned Capitol show a high amount of greed and avarice, essentially a high amount of sin. And the capital itself is not the Profaned Capitol. The Profaned Capitol is Tsumi no Miyako in Japanese. Tsumi translates to sin. Miyako translates to city or capital. The Profaned Capitol is a capital of sin. And I believe the great merchant city of Volgen is this capital of sin. Volgen had a high amount of greed and power struggles. The priests of blue were entrenched in scandalous power struggles, as likely were all the merchants, based on Mahlin's statement. If the Profaned Capitol, the capital of sin, is Volgen, this would explain why the corpse of Gilligan is in the capital. He was likely killed by royal Sorcerernevlon, who shares the same title with court sorcerer Aemon. Nevlon does call Gilligan a greedy foul man, which fits the theme of greed shown throughout the Profaned Capitol. The capital of sin, Volgen. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I'm still researching the connection that I found between Lothric and Heide, so I'd love to hear thoughts or other finds regarding this connection. And until we meet again in my next video, don't you dare go hollow.